Lab 4. In this lab, we're going to take a look at creating this headphone, basically. As you can see, it's just overscaled Bluetooth headset. And it's just the front bezel. We're going to begin with just some of the basic dimensions here. We have a 0.75 radius on the bottom. We have a couple angles here, 23 degrees across, and then we have 115 degrees, and then a big radius of 1.5. So let's begin with a new part. Let's create sketch, select the sketch plane, and we'll start off with a center line. So click on line and center line, draw a nice size center line, and hit escape. You turn off the center line tool, make sure that's off, and now go to the line tool. Again, make sure the center line's turned off. Move over to the left just a little bit of your center line, click and drag out an angled line. Click again to release it, and then draw another angled line at a stronger angle, as we see here, and hit escape. Now we're going to mirror that, so we're going to select what we want to mirror with the mirror tool. Let's just actually make sure we got that selected again. Click on select. Hold on a second, I just want to make sure. First go to the mirror tool, make sure the button's depressed, select it. Now go to the mirror line, and that's your center line. Hit apply, and done. Okay. Now with that, we could go ahead and we could go to the arc tools and find tangent arc. Click from one end to the other to connect. And we're going to go ahead and add some dimensions here. So let's go to the dimension tool. This is going to be 0.75. The angle, if we go back to the drawing, is going to be 23 degrees and 115 degrees. So between here and here, 23, and between this one and this one, 115. Okay, now we're going to go to the arc tools and find a 3-point arc, and connect an arc from this end to this end, and then have it bow out slightly, less than 2 inches maybe, because that's going to be dimensioned at 1.5. Now make sure you dimension between the two arcs, and that's supposed to be 1.25 between the two arcs. So click on this arc and this arc, and 1.25. And then there's also a dimension of 1 inch between the corner here and the bottom arc. So click on the bottom arc and then this corner, and that'll be 1. And then that should give us our shape. You might have wanted to add that 1 earlier in case this gets tangled up a bit. So you could always undo a couple times, get back to that before you add the 1.25. That might work a little bit better. Now it's still under define, so I'm going to hit escape to get out of the dimension tool. Find the center point of the bottom arc, drag it down, and back up to the origin so it snaps. It should turn dark blue if you have the color set up the same as I do. Let's bring these over a little bit. And now we're ready to extrude. Let's take a look at the drawing. The drawing overall thickness is going to be a 1/2 inch. And it's going to have draft, and the typical draft is 25 degrees. So 0.5 by 25 degrees draft. So hit finish, go to extrude. You can zoom out here a little bit. Move this out of the way. Let's put in 0.5. Now that went a little fast. I hit enter by accident. I wasn't prepared yet. We need to add the draft still. So go back to the extrusion in the feature tree and right click and find edit feature. That takes us back to the extrusion depth. But then there's more up here. And make sure for the taper it's set to 25 degrees. And we're probably going to have to add minus 25. You can see that removes the material, makes it smaller. And that's good. Let's go ahead and hit OK. Now for the next thing we have to add, there's two fillets. And you can see the two fillets here. There's actually a radius of 0.5, that's the larger one, and then there's a smaller X-ish chamfer. The chamfer is 30 degrees by 118 or 181. So 30, 181. We could go add that in first. We'll go with the chamfer, and it's going to be angle and distance. So we're going to go ahead and plug in 181 and 30. Let's select the edge, the face and the edge. Hit apply. And now we could go ahead and add the radius. We could have added the radius first. It doesn't really matter. 0.5. Select this edge here. Okay. Alright, we could rotate with the shift and the middle mouse button. Take a closer look. It looks pretty good. Let's look at the drawing now. Now we're going to add some of these petals, or actually holes that are in here. Actually, before we do that, we should probably shell this, because at this point I think we're safe to shell. And the typical wall thickness, you just have to find that. That's 0.06. So we're flip it around, go to the shell command, set it to 0.06, and select this face to be removed, and hit OK. Oh, I got point was missing. Oh, 0.06, there we go. Alright, so now that that's shelled, we could go ahead and flip it around again. And we'll proceed to select this face and go to create new sketch. Now we're going to put one of the little petals in the middle here, so we could first go to line and centerline, and just at the bottom there just drag up a nice centerline, escape, turn off centerline, and now we could go to the line tool and proceed with a very similar method we did earlier. We just draw a line over here, a slight angle. Now we could go to mirror, and we need to select the angled line, hit mirror line, and select the center line. Hit apply, and done. Now we could go to the tangent arc tool and put in our tangent arcs on both the top and bottom. And we'll just proceed to dimension it. And looking at the print, it's a ½ inch space from centers, and then the top radius is 0.2. So we'll go ahead and add 0.5. That's alright, we'll get that fixed. This is going to be 0.2. And let's look at the print, see what else we have here. And that gets dimensioned. In this here, we could look at this arc, and that's 0.7 from the center for the radius. Well, yes, that's correct, 0.7. So we could dimension this point. Actually, let's hit escape here and let's drag that down a bit. Get it internal there. Now we could go to dimension. From this point to this arc. That'll be 0.7 to locate it. Alright, and at that point we're ready. We could go ahead and we could extrude that as a cut. So finish sketch and extrude, select the profile, select remove material. If it doesn't go down automatically, select direction, and the distance will be all. Hit OK. Okay, now we just need to pattern that. Before we do that, let's actually add a feature on here. There's actually a circle that's going to be added to that. And the diameter is 0.835, and it's 30 thousandths high. 835, 30 thousandths. that, extrude it, 0.03. Select the profile, hit apply. Okay, let's create our pattern here. Let's select the feature we want to pattern and go to circular. Now we'll go ahead and select that again. And then the rotation axis. We should be able to select, let's see if we can select that face. There we go. And actually it's going to be just like 24 degrees if I'm correct. Yeah, it's at 24 degrees. And we're just going to put that in. So we're going to put 3 and put in 24. Well, actually, it looks like we can put in the full 6. Let's see. And it wants the full amount. So if we double that, because there's 2 of them in there, that would be 48 degrees. Now if we split it up and do 48 times 2, and then go ahead and put in the full 6 and hit the checkbox, we could go on the other side. And that's, actually, I'm sorry, it's not 6. It's 5 there. There we go. Alright, so now that we have that completed, we'll focus on this. Select this face and start a sketch. And we're going to draw a center rectangle. So use 2-point center. And right on this little vertex here, click and drag out a square. And we just have to look at the print to see. Zoom up to that. And the square, the size shows up right here. It's 50 thousandths by 100 thousandths. So let's go dimension that. 0.05, 0.1, and we'll extrude cut that. Remove material and all. Okay, there's a unique little feature in here. There's a couple radiuses that go in, and let's just verify those. If we look here, you see it, radius of 0.1, and then the other radiuses around the outside edge there are going to be 0.03. So let's go to fillet, put our 0.03 on that edge. So you can see there. Now we go back to fillet and 0.1 on this edge. So you get kind of a unique little style there. And now we want to pattern that. So let's go to the circular pattern. Select the features here. Okay. And the rotation axis, we can select this. We have to count how many we need. I don't think I put in the spec. It looks like there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's put 15 and hit OK. Alright, then there's a little logo on the surface. We can just select that face, start a sketch. And I don't think I even put the diameter in on this one. Probably ½ inch. And then there's a little offset. Looks like a moon in front of a sun or something. So, or Death Star if you want to look at it like that. And then we just go finish. And then we extrude that. Select this face. And it only goes 0.01 and cut into the part. Make sure it goes down into the part. And OK. Alright, now we could focus on the inside of the part. Flip it around. And start a sketch on this surface. we'll draw our center line right in the middle. Escape and turn off center line. We're going to draw a post, or at least a circle for a post, over on the left here. And we'll have to put in our specs according to the print. And here we have them. The outer diameter is going to be 0.175, and there's 3 of them there. Also, we're going to have the height specified over here, 0.375. So let's see what we can do. Let's actually get the others in there too. Draw another one over here, and we'll go and we'll mirror that across. So we could select the mirror tool, select the entity we want to mirror, click on the mirror line, select the center line, hit apply, and done. Now let's go to dimension. We'll dimension 1.175, and then we could go to make equal, and we'll just select these. Oh, cancel that. That's right. It's already constrained because it's mirrored, but we need the one at the base, so we can click on that and this one here to make sure it's the same diameter. All right, now as far as positioning, it's 3/4 of an inch from the center, and then they're 0.125 from the center. So 0.75 and 0.125. So from here to here. And then from here to here. Actually, they're a little bit. Let's hit escape and let's just move that up a little bit so we don't have any issues. And then we're going to go ahead and dimension from this center point to this point. That'll be 0.125. So we have our position. We're going to hit finish sketch. Now we can extrude those, and those get extruded 0.375, and they get draft added to them. So the taper is going to be -1. And hit OK. All right, now we could select this face here, and there's some holes that go in there. And we just draw that in there like so. Okay, and over here we could do the same. We could actually mirror it over if we want. We can also draw this in over here. Hit escape and make those two equal. We'll add a dimension. They're supposed to be 0.1 diameter. Now to get this other one in here, let's go to circle again. Just draw it in there. Notice it doesn't infer to the edge. We'll just get it close. And then we'll hit escape and we'll go to concentric constraint. And then we'll make those equal. Equal. Select those. All right, now at this point, we just cut those. So we hit finish, and we go to extrude, select them, remove material, and they only go 0.1 deep. All right, now finally there's a center section. Select this face, start a sketch, and we just draw a double circle. We just have to verify those dimensions there. And those are going to be 0.5 and 0.6. And then it's going to go a height of 0.13. So 0.5, 0.6, and let's finish sketch, extrude, select that little nested feature there, and 0.13. Now there's a little cutout right over here. When we start a sketch, we're just going to draw a rectangle in there. And we just have to dimension it according to print. It's a little cutout. Again, 50 thousandths, 0.05. And then the depth goes 100 thousandths. We can actually lock it in if we want, just to ensure that it stays positioned. And make it coincident. Actually, it's not exactly what I was looking for. I want coincident. I want vertical. There we go. Alright, and we just hit finish, extrude, select the profile. Point 1, remove material, make sure it cuts down into the part. Okay. And that completes lab 4. At this point, you could dress it up a little bit and apply rendering materials and such. Sometimes chamfers look really good on some of these edges. You can set them very small. In this case, we'll set it to 0.01. And then we can select these faces and edges. If you don't see a preview, that's usually not a very good thing. Let's try putting a round on there. I think due to the complexity where it comes in contact over here, there might be some issues, and we're getting little error messages there. Oh, actually, that was just set very high. Hold on a second. So 0.01. There we go. Okay, on the inside, you can add some fillets as well. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add a material choice. I'm going to go with, actually I'm going to go with glass. Okay, now I'm going to go to the view and go to realistic. We can even do ray tracing. Good versus best. It's very dark to see, so I'm going to turn off ray tracing. Let's see if we could get a better looking image there. We could also go with illustration. And actually, I'm not too fond, I guess, of the glass. Let's go with something else. We could go with, I guess I could go with aluminum or something, or bronze. It's not so bad. Turn on shadows. Okay, so that pretty much concludes this lab.